Hello, welcome to Art Literacy, a channel that guides viewers toward the true pleasures of cinema. This is my second video. Today's film is One Battle After Another, the latest release by director Paul Thomas Anderson. In discussing this film, I would like to begin with what can be considered its climatic sequence, the car chase scene. The reason I want to start here is that, to me, this scene seems to articulate the director's core ideas that run through the entire film. I watched this film in an IMAX theater, and my immediate reaction after the chase scene was somewhat unexpected. In terms of sheer entertainment value, the thrill was not particularly strong. It even felt a bit subdued. Compared to recent blockbuster films known for spectacular action, such as Dune Part 2 or Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, this scene lacks that kind of visceral excitement. And yet, I came to feel that what truly matters in this sequence is not the pleasure derived from action itself, but rather the location in which this chase takes place. The terrain is highly unusual. It is not a space we're accustomed to seeing. The ground is rugged, uneven, and marked by dramatic variations in elevation and curvature. This raises an important question. Why did Paul Thomas Anderson choose to stage the chase in such a location? The thought that occurred to me was this. This was never a road that could truly be made into a road. In other words, our knowledge of nature and the technologies we use to reshape it to our advantage has clear limits. There are boundaries we cannot cross. We cannot fundamentally alter nature's essence, nor can we fully control it according to our will. What we see in this terrain is precisely that natural essence. No matter how much effort we expend, we cannot transform it at its core. At best, we can only disguise it, paving it just enough for it to resemble a road. What is crucial, however, is that it is this unaltered natural condition that ultimately determines the character's fate. Had this chase taken place on a flat, conventional road, would Willa Ferguson, a young teenager with virtually no combat experience, have been able to defeat a seasoned killer? It is within the vastness of nature that outcomes emerge which we could never have anticipated. Thus, what I took away from this chase scene is a profound sense of how small and fragile human beings are when confronted with a force that transcends our knowledge and will. This idea is echoed in the scene where Lockjaw negotiates with the bounty hunter Avanti over Willa. Against the immense natural landscape behind them, the two figures appear almost insignificant. At the same time, the image suggests something else as well, that we, too, are merely a part of nature. Because of this, we cannot stand against nature, and before it, we can only remain fragile. Going even further, one might say that our bodies originate from nature itself, and that our physical or natural instincts are not things we can easily override through sheer will. Images that convey this idea are scattered throughout the film. Take Perfidia Beverly Hills, for example. Even while heavily pregnant, she derives pleasures from shooting a gun, drawn to the thrill of violence. The grand ideals of the French 75 organization are little more than hollow justifications. Perfidia is, in reality, passively guided by sensations of pleasure, including sexual desire. This is why she sleeps with Lockjaw, once her enemy, and becomes pregnant with his child, and ultimately betrays the organization. Lokjo, too, is driven by his own natural impulses, particularly his sexual attraction to black women. This desire leads him to abuse the authority granted to him as a public official. Similarly, in the bank robbery scene involving the French 75, the group appears less motivated by justice than by black power, the intoxication of dominance and authority achieved through violence. Of course, our natural instincts do not point only toward lust or violence. They also include compassion and goodness. Avanti's decision to save Willa, for instance, is impulsive and deeply irrational. That single act cost him not only his professional relationship, but ultimately his life. Later, in the flashback sequence revealed through Perfidio's letter to Willa, her maternal love becomes visible. The natural disposition of a single human being, like Perfidia, is therefore not something we can easily grasp or reduce to simple terms. Thus, our innate nature is not only difficult to comprehend, it is also something we cannot resist. Things like blood relations or race, or forces that transcend individual will. From this perspective, Lockjaw attempt to eliminate Willa because she threatens his political ambitions appears especially dangerous. Blood ties are not something we choose. They are given to us, beyond our control. The same danger and contradiction can be seen in the Christmas Adventurer Club, whose white supremacist ideology leads them to eliminate others at will. Their actions are incomplete, self-contradictory, and deeply flawed. The film expands this idea further by examining the systems humans construct. Both the French 75 and the government organizations pursuing them proclaim lofty ideals to justify their actions. Yet these systems are riddled with contradictions and vulnerabilities that stem directly from human nature. Bob Ferguson, a member of French 75, fails to remember the group's passcode and is therefore unable to receive help in a critical moment. This failure likely stems from his drug use and generally negligent way of life. Yet the organization, which relies solely on rigid systemic rules, refuses to accommodate him. Despite loudly proclaiming justice, the system collapses easily. Government institutions are no different. Judging by Lockjaw's actions, he is hardly a man worthy of praise or commendation. And yet, the media elevates him, and the public, unaware of the truth, comes to admire someone who does not deserve respect, simply because they rely on institutional conventions and promises. The impression these systems left on me was that of a sandcastle facing an incoming wave, fragile, unstable, and poorly constructed. In contrast, what truly functions in this film is solidarity formed for survival. Sergio San Carlos, known as Sensei, does not invoke abstract notions of justice. Instead, he aligns himself with immigrants in his own way, helping them survive and escape. And at a crucial moment, this form of solidarity works. It saves everyone. This stands in stark contrast to the failures of institutional systems. Finally, in the scene where Willa receives her mother Perfidia's letter from her father and comes to understand both of her parents, better than before, the film suggests that what we truly need is understanding, respect, and love for one another. Only on such a foundation can we begin to transcend our given nature and achieve something greater. Ultimately, as beings, who are part of nature, we're profoundly fragile. It is difficult to say that we live purely by our own will. Yet, when we unite through understanding, respect, and love, the possibility of progress emerges. This is why the final image of Willa heading out for a new battle after reading her mother's letter feels hopeful. Yes, that was my discussion of one battle after another. I hope you look forward to the next video as well. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.